What's up, Ramlin? You are now in the kitchen with Chef Nixon for all your fixings for the latest and greatest of VCU men's basketball. So, VCU versus Mason last night. How did it go? Let's get into it. So, before this game even started, I knew this was going to be a really good game. Like we talked about, we played them in Fairfax. It was a close game at halftime. Come out of halftime, Ace goes on a run. Um, Three, steal, three, steal, assist, steal, three, defensive possession, another three, and that kind of blew the game open for VCU down there. But it was still a competitive game, even though we had control over it. Still was a very competitive game. And the biggest thing I could take from that was excuse me. The biggest thing I could take from that was George Mason kept missing momentum shots. They would have a possession where they would cut it down to like 10 or something like that, or 6 or 8 or something like that, and they would have possession come that way. They get a stop or they would get a steal, and they would kick out 2 or 3, and they hit the 3. It could change the complexion of the game, and they would miss it. So they couldn't hit those momentum shots to really change the outcome, and they kind of struggled executing down the stretch. But even with that, I always thought they were a very dangerous team. I think Josh Oduro is a very talented player, and they have shooters all around them, which kind of reminds me of, you guessed it. But GMU comes to this game after a disappointing loss to Fordham. And like I said, Fordham, I told y'all, Fordham as a team has a toughness about them. And their environment is so whack that it's very hard to play down there. Now, I talked with Coach English the day before the game, and he just tried to give credit to the coaching staff for Fordham. And I agree. Of course, the coaching staff comes into it, but as a player, I know how sometimes it can be hard to get up for games when the environment is just dull, and you have to bring your own energy to an away game. I've been in games like that. So there's also a close one, 50-47, which is also something that made me concerned about this game, because not only are they trying to get revenge for us taking care of business the way we handled it in Fairfax, but they're just coming off a disappointing loss to Fordham, and any good team is going to try to really bounce back from that, and they're going to put their best foot forward coming out the gate in the next game. And speaking with Coach English, he felt as if VCU played their best game offensively in Fairfax, and Mason played their worst game offensively in Fairfax. So he felt very confident coming in that they can get the job done. And he just said he just got to, he has to take a step up in Mason's toughness. And he also complimented VCU on their toughness as well. He said that that's like our backbone is toughness. And I think he hit it on the head. We have defense, don't get me wrong, but at the core of it is toughness and fighting through. And we see it by we have so many players come in and have like the next man up mentality. So, Coach English had his team ready for war, and they were starving, and they're actually starving for a win. So VCU, on the other hand, enters the game on a 5-game win streak after defeating the crosstown rival University of Henrico by a dub, may I add. Coach Rhodes is aware of how talented George Mason is. He's aware of the threat they bring as far as having a super good, not say super good, but a very talented big man and three-point shooters all around him. So he's very aware of what Mason brings and the threat they can be. I think part of the success we had last game was how we defended Oduro, and it kind of made it difficult for the offense to get going. So I expected the same thing We got to put a lot of trust into our bigs and our front court that they can handle Oduro without having to commit to the double team, because that just gives their shooters that much extra time to get some clean looks off. So starting out this game, VCU went on a 10-0 run, and I was commentating this game, so I'm sitting there thinking like, oh wow, are we gonna thump them like this? Are we really gonna put it on like just completely wax them? We got to a 10-0 run. Coach English calls a timeout, settled them down, and one of the things I thought could be is just jitters for George Mason. And what I mean by that is, sometimes, especially within this whole COVID thing, people aren't used to playing in front of big crowds. And VCU was rocking from the jump. Shout out to Ram Nation. Shout out to you, Ramley, for showing up and showing out. They had some Mason fans in there, which I kind of like having opposing fans in our gym, just so we can shut them up. But it was definitely rocking in there. So that 10-0 run was probably contributed to you all. I know VCU came out ready to play, but the atmosphere was great. So that definitely helped out. But Coach Ings called a timeout, and Mason, they closed that gap real quick. They went on a 9-0 run of their own. And that was really setting the precedence to how the game was going to go. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a really good fight. So the key to Mason's success is their power forward / center, Josh Oduro. The kid's super strong, or he's very strong and super skilled. His footwork is some of the best I've seen in conference play, whether that be CAA or A10 from a big man that I've seen in a very long time. If you guys could think of another big man who had footwork like Oduro, please leave it in the comment or something. I gotta know, because I don't remember. And Mason, they were going to him early, and I'm telling you, with Hassan being hurt, Deloach playing, and like I said, Deloach is good. He's improving every day, but Deloach can't handle Oduro by himself. I don't want to sound mean or sound like I'm saying something that's disturbing or nothing like that. But Oduro got Deloach in foul trouble immediately because, one, Oduro worked on his body throughout the years. He was a little pudgy dude coming in, and now he's a little bit leaner, a lot stronger. So he's putting all that weight and that strength on Deloach. So Deloach is putting so much weight back on him, just trying to, not physically get pushed back on the post. But when he do that, Oduro has so much good footwork that he already has Deloach to lean it, whether that be leaning forward and you get the spin move and Deloach falls forward. You know what I'm saying? Or he spin away from Deloach to get him with an up fake, step through with the layup. Like, I haven't seen that type of footwork in that way in a very, very long time. So they always try to go to him early, and they should go to him often. However, the issue is we always get Oduro in foul trouble. We always do. Part of it is he really wants to win. They've been struggling, and like I said, Mason is a talented team. I feel like their record should be a lot better, and that may be coming next year. So be prepared for that. But with them getting in foul trouble, that kind of switches up their offense to where you don't know where the scoring is going to come from. But this time in particular, we try to do man-to-man coverage, which would limit the help down for the kick-out threes. But we did a really good job of digging. And for those who don't know, when I refer to digging, is when the ball's in the post, and VCU's on defense, of course, and the guards kind of swipe in to knock the ball loose, or just to get the big man to impede their progress. You know what I'm saying? So that's considered digging in the post. We did a really good job of that. Ace went down there and got a steal one time. Vince, I'm pretty sure, knocked the ball loose one time. We did a really good job of just digging it and doubling Oduro late after he's going into his move. So we executed that very, very well. And you would think with us doing that well and Oduro being in foul trouble that this game was, we were going to have control over and it was going to be like a blowout. But nah, that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case at all. And the reason for that was Mason had a guy step up, right? And he stepped up pretty big. So, for instance, Jalen Nunn went on an 8-0 stretch by himself where he's unconscious, step back three, get into the paint, Euro step, you know what I mean, another three. The kid is like super, super nice, I think he's going to be really, really good. Him and Ace moving forward for years is going to be something to admire, you know what I'm saying? You see the leadership that Ace has, and he can sprinkle some of that off on Jalen Nunn. You see the ability to create shots that Jalen Nunn has. You see the ability that Ace has to create a shot and get other people shots. It's going to be amazing to see coming down the stretch, and it's going to be amazing to see for years moving forward. When we get some more talent in, we get some long, lengthy guys. Like, we got Fats coming in, we got Furman coming in. These guys are going to fit well, and they're going to love playing with Ace and Jalen Nunn. But yeah, Nunn went on a run by himself, but then here comes Schwartz. Deshaun Schwartz kept Mason in the game. It seemed like every time VCU would get a run and would think like we're about to pull off, Schwartz would come down, hit a shot, calm it down. and the one thing I like about Schwartz is his game is very slow and patient. Like Keyshawn Curry did a great job of guarding him, but Schwartz did a really good job of taking his time, putting his body on Keyshawn, because it looked like Schwartz outweighs Keyshawn by like 20, 25 pounds, something like that. And he would just put his body on Keyshawn slowly and surely and do a little step back fade away where it's like you can have a hand up, but you still really can't block the shot. So it's like he did stuff like that all night, hitting open threes, knocking down his free throws. He kept Mason in the game at every junction when it felt like we were about to take off. With that, we went into halftime 39-34, right? I knew we were in for a treat. The first half was exciting, mixed in with a lot of runs. So I knew the second half was going to be jumping, right? And I always believe whoever wins the first 5 minutes is more than likely going to win the game. But the first 5 minutes of that second half was still so competitive and back and forth that it was hard to call. I know George Mason started out getting the run for like the first 2 minutes, then VCU came back. So it was just one of these games where it was, okay, put it this way, it was a classic conference game. This is how conference games usually go, or how they usually are when you have two competitive teams. You know each other's stuff. You know what each other are bringing to the table. And now it's just who can dog it out the most. So, midway through, or maybe a little bit past midway through the half, Mason gathers themselves and they're putting together a run. And they found themselves with a 6-point lead, and VCU calls the timeout. And after that, excuse my language, but I witnessed some legendary shit, man. Excuse my language, but Ace Baldwin completely took over the game. Mikael Brown-Jones did his thing as far as knocking down free throws, getting some rebounds. But Ace Baldwin completely took over that show. It was just like something went off because he was kind of struggling. He was kind of struggling early on in the game. And if you look at his final stats, he was like 5 for 15. But I felt like he hit all 5 of his shots in this one stretch, along with some killer assists that were just amazing to see. Like he hit Keyshawn Curry for one when Keyshawn did reverse to put some English on it. That was a highlight play. I think that was number one in the top 5 plays by Ram Nation. But yeah, Ace Baldwin, this is ability ability and willingness to take over games. You can't replace that. That type of stuff is just in you. It's just in you, and not to down anybody, but look at the comparison between like an Ace Baldwin and a Josh Banks when it comes to just like confidence. Like I think Josh Banks is super talented, and I think that if he had Ace's confidence and willingness, I think that that would completely change his career projection. But Ace Baldwin has it right now, and he's just any chance he gets, he's not afraid to take the shot. He's not afraid to be the one to take the lead. He's not afraid to get in there and mix it up with the Giants. He's not afraid to have everybody lean on him. So it was like a play after a play after a play after a play on the defensive end, on the offensive end, whether it be assist, whether it be a shot. He hit somebody with a step back. The dude was stumbling like he was doing a nay-nay or something like that. Look it up, and you know what I'm saying. And then he pulls up and just knocks 3 down. It was just, he had the crowd going wild. Like, once he won that run, the crowd super got into it, and it basically was over. Of course, once we get down the stretch, we had this habit of just letting teams linger. Instead of just completely closing the door, we kind of just leave it crack. You know what I'm saying? So, of course, Mason tried to make it interesting down the stretch, but at the end of the day, we already had control over the game. They just like, I guess the players just kind of like having fun with the fans, having y'all panic. But we ended up pulling the game out. Thanks to Ace. Well, not thanks to Ace. Thanks to a lot of contributors. Everybody had a run. Basically, we had 3 players have basically a run by themselves. Starting off with Jaden Nunn in the first half, and then you had the Mikael Brown-Jones when he was starting to go off, and then you had Ace at the end of that, just doing things that he usually does. So I can't say it was just one person, but it was just amazing to see how Ace handled it was kind of dope. So we pulled out the game, 72-66, competitive game. I still don't think Mason had anything to hold their head about, hang their head about. It was a super competitive game. That's how a conference game usually goes. It's a fight, and then somebody just has a run at the right time. And that's cool. That's just how it is. So let's get into it. Stat leaders: Ace Baldwin, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 6 steals. It's crazy how well he steals the ball. Almost Briante Weber like. If you look at the rate, and I really have to see, because I'm pretty sure Briante would just get average 3 steals a game. And I want to see where Ace is. I think he's flirting with that. So it's crazy. It's crazy to see that, and everything else he brings too. Mikael Brown-Jones, 15 points, which is probably a career high, 6 rebounds, and 7 for 8 free throws. Usually I don't put free throws on there, but majority of those free throws were coming down a stretch where they were key to either closing the lead or maintaining the lead and pushing the game out. He did a great job of stepping up there with confidence and ice in his veins to just knock him down. And again, I've seen Mikael Brown-Jones while he was in high school, and I could tell that he had more to offer than what we were seeing at the beginning of the season. And I think now he's starting to find his footing. He's starting to get comfortable. He's starting to find his role and be comfortable in his role. I think he's starting to gain confidence. He's starting to get that swagger back. A quote that Eric Mann used to always say is, confidence could take you a long way. Swagger could take you a long way. So it's proven. It's proven. If you don't have the confidence in yourself, if you don't have that swag about yourself, no matter what you're doing, no matter how much work you put into it, it's never going to work out the way you want it unless you have confidence in it. You know what I'm saying? Find confidence by putting in the work. If you put in the work, there's no reason to not have confidence, right? So I really wish that everybody could have that confidence, but of course, some people are just born with it. You know what I mean? Some people put the work in and earn it. But either way, you got to get it. So shout out to Mikael Brown-Jones. For George Mason, Deshaun Schwartz had 22 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. A lot of his points were like just keeping Mason in the game when Josh Oduro was picking up fouls. Josh Oduro had 13 points, 7 rebounds, and 1 BS foul on Mikael Brown-Jones, who he probably should have been. Well, I don't know if he should have been ejected. I guess he should have got the tech, and that was it. But I don't think that Mikael Brown should have got a tech for like stepping up to him like, yo, that was a crazy behind foul. What do you want me to do? You want to just get up and just walk away meek and turn the other cheek? This is not sports. Ain't the Bible. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was crazy. So now for the low key player of the game, this kid really isn't low key. He's been doing his thing all year. He kind of hit a little freshman wall at one point in time, but now I feel like if he's getting past that, the last few games he's really been finding a way to have his impact on the game. I know with Ace coming back, it kind of made him readjust his game and change out. So it took a while to figure it out. But Jaden Nunn had 13 points, 5 rebounds, and he's a low key player of the game. I hope that he can continue to grow and build on this. He puts the work in. From talking to the coaches, he's a gym rat. All he does is play video games and go to the gym. That's a wonderful thing to have as a teammate. And honestly, that's a sense of leadership to make sure your guys are getting there and working hard. So moving forward, trap the bando. So we go to UMass. We had to get there a day early because they feared that it was going to be snowing. UMass is towards the bottom of the conference. And we have the biggest week of the season coming up. So we have the biggest week of the season thus far coming up with a home game against St. Bonnie's and an away game against St. Louis. Both teams are fighting for the top 4 spots for the conference play. And this game is a trap. And for those who don't know what a bando is, it's an abandoned house. If you don't know what a trap is, urban dictionary. But definitely this game is important because they're bad. UMass is bad, but they can get hot. So it's like talking to one of the coaches, we kind of came to the conclusion that UMass is kind of like VMI. And if you're familiar with VMI, it's military school, and their basketball team is known for getting buckets. They can get them up, and they can get them up fast on you. But they don't play defense. So if they're super hot, you might be in for a long ride. But if they're not, it should be easy picking. But you have to prepare and practice and play defense as if they're the best team in the conference, because on any given night they might be. So yeah, that's it for that. Now, on to, I guess, news. Not trying to spread anything or anything like that, but I'm pretty sure it's out now. But Deloach, JJ was had an incident where he's being accused of simple assault. I don't have any real insight into what's going on, and if I did, I probably wouldn't be able to tell you anyway. But I will say this, and this is just something that this is a message to the VCU players and really athletes in general. You have to be aware of where you are, aware of your surroundings, aware of things that's going on, or you can find yourself in a situation you don't want to be in. You have to understand that you just probably want to be out and just have some fun, but there's other people who don't view you in the same light as you view everybody else. There's certain things in certain places that you have to be like, man, it's time to go. You know, there's certain situations you have to keep yourself out of to avoid anything like this. Whether you did something or you didn't do anything, you have to avoid these type of situations. There's numerous amount of players throughout my tenure at VCU that have had issues, or run-ins, or some type of nonsense or BS that came up that hindered them from really focusing just on basketball in school. You know what I mean? So my advice to all the athletes, the basketball players, be mindful of your surroundings and get out of situations that may, not even are causing issues, but may cause issues. Just be forward thinking, and just be smart, man. And keep yourself away from some of these girls, some of your boys. Not everybody's gonna be for you in what you're trying to do. You got your teammates. Lean on them. Not only will that help you to stay out of trouble, it's going to help you as a team to grow together and build that chemistry that y'all can go on runs and win something big. So just be mindful of where you are. Be mindful of what you're doing. Be mindful of the situation and your surroundings around you. You know what I mean? So that's that. I'm off my soapbox. So, love y'all rambling. Until next time. Peace.